So I'm going to make a tutorial, and I hope you can hear me. If not, I will dub in my voice later. This is going to be on making jump rings. I've been making chainmaille for quite some time, and I've done it in both large scale and small scale. This is going to be pretty basic and hopefully pretty quick. Okay, you probably hear the garage time in the background. That's my fiance upstairs. But tools here are pretty simple. You need a clamp, some wire. In this case, wire came from Rio Grande, and that is a pretty good supplier. You have to call them before you can actually order anything from them. But this is 20 gauge half hard wire, and you'll also need a clamp and jeweler's saw. So start with my wire, and I'm going to go with about a little bit larger than my fist and a loop. A couple more tools. Something to cut wire. And pliers, preferably with the teeth filed out. Okay. So we'll take this one more wrap wire around. This is actually just a nail that has been had the head and a sharp point cut off. And I do that because I have a tendency to bump into things and I don't want to stab myself. Okay. If you want to know how big your nail is, you can use a caliper. And this particular nail is just about 3 millimeters. So a little bit larger than that. Maybe about 3.1 or 3.2 millimeters. So I'm going to clamp my nail down to my bench clamp. This is just a board that's also clamped to my work table. The reason I use this is so that if I'm cutting something, I don't cut into the table itself. Though it's not exactly the most fancy table in the world. Wire. And wrap it tightly around the nail. You want to wrap it so that there's no gaps. So you're going straight across. And with the size, or length rather, of wire that I'm using, should end up with a coil just over 1 inch long. This coil is actually a little bit longer than I like to work with. The reason I make short coils like that is because I find them easier to cut with the jeweler's saw. If you use a different method for cutting your coils, it may be more efficient for you to go ahead and make a longer coil. I use the pliers here to not only hold the wire, but also to push down those little ends that stick out. So my coil is like a tightly wound spring. Take the jeweler's saw, and I like to have some sort of tray to catch the rings in. And I'm not seeing any of my trays, so give me a second. Be right back. This one we'll do. It's a wooden tray. We'll have spray painted black so that silver shows up on it. Now I've got, I don't think you can see it from that angle, but there's a little groove that I've cut into this bench pin. I'm going to position my coil over that groove and at a slight angle saw down through the coil. I'll try to put in some still photos of that. Maybe length a minute, maybe put them in the video at the end. It's my first video. It's kind of experiment. fall into the little tray. And you can get them off the saw blade between cutting coils, and that way you don't get to stuff. Now these can be used for chains or just general jewelry purposes. If you want to add pendants on the chains, you can use it for that. If you want to construct chains from scratch, you can do that. And you can make them in various different sizes or gauges of line, whatever you actually want to make. There's a couple reasons why I make my own jump rings. Number one, it's more of a flush coil, or a flush cut ring rather, so that the ends of the ring move together really, really well. And that causes things to be stronger, not to break. If you buy jump rings that have been cut or machine cut, sometimes they don't, the ends of the rings don't butt together as well. They leave gaps, and those rings, or those chains end up breaking. Now, if you're not too concerned with the small gap, like for that shirt that I showed you, you can use the clippers to cut through these coils, and you can make chains out of that. I don't recommend it for jewelry, but if you're going to make a shirt, you can go for it. You don't want to sit here sawing 10,000 rings for a chainmaille shirt. Sure, it would be too expensive. Nobody would want to buy it. On the other hand, you can buy some machine cut rings. Not too much more expensive if you're buying them in large quantities to use in those shirts. Save yourself some time. That's it in a nutshell. How to make jump rings. Thank you.